Hey, welcome to this video. In this video, I want to talk about the female sexual mind, how women get sexually aroused, how you can get to a woman's sexuality and have long-term relationships with them. As I explained in the male's sexual mind video, we work completely different. Men and women, we work different, not totally different. Of course, there's many things that we share in terms of getting excited, but women don't get excited like we do, especially in terms of the visual side, of the visual excitement of sex. One of the things that we have to get away from our mind and change the pattern of thought and what we think about sex and a woman, it's a very patriarch view, comes from the Christian society, the Christian values, in the old times where women didn't have the rights they have today, and women were looked bad if they liked sex. If a woman liked sex, she was like, well, she's not very normal, she's a little bit like a easy girl, she's a sinner. Things like that, where shame and guilt were present. Nowadays, we still have that in our DNA. There's cultural patterns and cultural thoughts and cultural values, they come with us. They come with us, and it takes a long time for them to go over. So one thing that we have to get out of our head is that a woman is not a sexual being. A woman is a sexual being just like the man, exactly like the man. They love sex as much as we do. They enjoy sex as much as we do. Actually, I believe they enjoy it even more than we do because they have more possibilities, and I think they have more pleasure than us. So a woman has the same rights to have an incredible sexual life, even if she is a mother. The fact that she is a mother doesn't make her a not sexual being anymore. And this goes for the woman as well. When you have children, you should not stop thinking that you're a sexual being. Many women, when they have children, they stop taking care of themselves, they stop looking for that sexual pleasure, they believe that, well, now I have other priorities, and of course you do. You have a child now, and your priorities have to be shared, but don't think that now you're not pretty, don't think that now your vagina is not pleasurable for a man. There's many people who believe these things. Maybe you're watching this and you're saying, what are you talking about? Well, this happens today. So if you are one of those people that think like that, or if you're a man watching this and your wife has 2 children, 3 children, and you don't see her now as a sexual, attractive woman, but you see her as a mother, you're probably having very little sex. And you can change this, and you can make sure that this is completely changed. Both of you have to put some effort in it. If you're not taking care of your body anymore, if you've become a bit fat and you're not so attractive anymore, you need to get and start to be attractive again and feel attractive again and things like that. But having children doesn't mean that you're not a sexual being anymore. Okay, this is what I want to get across, and a woman loves sex as much as men do. They just get excited a bit different. So what is the main difference between men and women at the time of getting aroused? Well, the main difference is that men, we are very visual, we like to watch the porn movie, and women like to imagine the porn movie. I want to make that comparison so maybe it gets clear in your head. We as men like to watch it. We like to watch it and get excited watching how it goes and so on. The woman rather imagine that porn movie where they are the actors and they are doing it. They like to imagine it. But they like the porn movie, but imagining it, not watching it. Of course, women like to watch porn every now and then. Of course. I'm saying as a general rule, and in general, women will not like much porn. They rather imagine it. So the woman's mind works different in that way. They need more time to get aroused as well. Men, we watch it, boom, hard on. Girls, they imagine it, they think about it, and they start getting aroused. That's how it works. So now let me explain how the woman works in terms of sexuality, because for men, when we come to sex, we get excited, we want sex, we get hard on, we want to have sex, and we do it and have sex, and we're satisfied. Once we have the orgasm, we're satisfied. Woman is a bit different. Because women, yes, they get excited, they want to have the orgasm, they want to have sexual satisfaction, but that's not the most important thing. For them, the emotional attachment is very important. Women associate sex to emotions. And if you want to have sex with a woman over and over again, that she gets excited with you over and over and over again, and you can have a long-term relationship, there must be emotions in there. Men, we might be able to have sex with a woman for many times, but we don't need that emotional attachment to have sex with that woman. Women, to give themselves continually to a man, they need that emotional satisfaction. So, how does a woman get aroused? There's two ways how a woman gets aroused. First, it can be through her mind, like triggering her erotic imagination, where she gets excited thinking about something that can happen, or she can get excited by touch. Of course, if you stimulate a woman sexually, somehow, it can start with a kiss, it can start with touching, it can start with caressing, it can start with actually straightforward sexual touch. Depends on the situation, okay? The situation is very important, and the context is very important, okay? It has to be a right context. If you go to a woman and try to stimulate her sexually in a wrong context, she will not get excited. Men as well, but men we might. We are a bit different in that way. So it must be the right context, and it can be through mental stimulation, mental erotic stimulation, or physical touch. Now, once that's triggered, even if it's physical, she gets aroused sexually, and she gets excited. It goes to her brain, and the brain sends the signals to the body, say, hey, we are getting aroused, and it gets excited. She starts to lubricate, the blood starts to flow towards the vagina, and so on. So after she's excited, she has sex, she has sexual intercourse, she has sexual pleasure, sexual satisfaction, which leads to sexual intimacy. How does it happen? If there's an emotional attachment. When she's satisfied through the sexual act, she is satisfied and she feels that emotional attachment to you, she will have that sexual intimacy. She will feel that sexual intimacy with you, and she will be willing to do it over again and over again and over again. What I mean over again, I mean that she's going to be willing to look for you to have sex. For a woman in general, it's not so easy to go from guy to guy. It's not so easy because they're not sexually aroused that way. Men, we are the hunters, we want to have many women, and that's in our instinct. Woman is not like that. Woman, they rather have that same person. There's three things that a woman has to experience or feel emotionally in order to give herself fully to a man sexually. And that is, she needs to feel secure, desired, and loved. She needs to feel secure. She needs to feel that nothing wrong is going to go with her, that nothing wrong is going to happen, that you're not going to judge her, that you're not going to treat her bad, that you're going to treat her with respect. All those things, that security she must feel in order to completely let herself go with you in sex. She must feel desired, of course. If a woman doesn't feel desire, it's very difficult that she will actually give herself. She must feel desire, and she will know if you're not feeling that towards her. You might fool her with your speaking, with your pickup mastery talents or whatever you have one time, but she's gonna see it right away that you're not there for her as a desire, that you don't desire her. She will feel that. Women have a great instinct. So she must feel desire, because that's what's going to open her up. It's going to make her feel really good and actually attached to you emotionally, because she feels desire. It's reciprocal. And finally, she must feel loved. Okay, and loved, of course, you might say, well, Charlie, if it's the third time we have sex, the love there, what type of love is that? Okay, it doesn't have to be deep love. You don't have to be in a relationship for 10 years to feel love. Actually, it's difficult to put a moment of when you say I felt in love in that moment, okay? It's a process. But what I mean by love means that she feels that you care for her, that you care for her well-being, that you care for her satisfaction, that you care for her being happy, that you care for her being in a good state. That's what I mean by love. And of course, I mean love as well, okay? When you're in a relationship for a long time, if she doesn't feel that love, of course, it will not happen. It will not happen. She will not want to have sex all the time, and it will come to a point where it stops. She must feel loved. Emotions is what triggers the woman's erotic imagination, it's what triggers the woman's erotic arousal. That's how it works. She must feel emotionally attached to you and feel that intimacy with you in order to give herself fully in sex, open up totally in sex, and also to have sex over and over again. In this video, I also want to mention something very, very important about women. Women are cyclical. Women have menstruation every single month. And we as men need to understand that. And you as woman need to allow yourself to have that cyclical period that you have. A woman throughout the month goes through different cycles of hormones and of feelings, sensations, moods. We've all heard about, well, you're moody when you have the period or whatever. Okay, and yes, that's true. When a woman goes through the month, there's peaks of hormones that hit and they make her feel different and make her have more energy, less energy, be more introvert, be more outwards. It depends on the time of the month, how she feels and what she's willing. There's also times of the month where she's more sexual than others. There's times of the month, especially when she's fertile, she wants to have sex most often. And that is like that. It works like that. It is a hormone thing. It's something that's inside her body and makes her feel that way. So we as men have to respect that, have to accept that as well. And not force things, because sometimes we force things. If a woman doesn't feel like having sex, maybe it's because something like that is inside her and doesn't make her really want to have sex, especially when she has the period. Some women don't want to actually have no sex with the period. Some women might, but we cannot force it. This doesn't give woman the right to use that to get her way and manipulate things and use it for their advantage. Be real. That's what I urge you to do here. Be real. If you're a woman, be real. If you don't feel like it, don't feel like it. But don't try to get things or try to justify things that you do because you have the period or because you have that. If you have the period and you don't feel like doing anything, don't do it. But don't blame it on people, or if you feel sad or you feel like sort of like without energy, it's not anybody's fault. It's just the body is like that. Just accept it and let it go through. Okay? And we as men, we must accept it, respect it, and let her have her space when she needs it. This is very important because many couples actually fight over these things, and many couples, they blame the other person for that, and it is like a fight, and women especially, during the week or during the month, they have a lot of things to do, and they not only have to work, but also the kids and whatever. Both have to do everything, but the woman, when she has a period and she has low energy, she still has to keep going. And maybe she jumps easily to things. So if she's in that moment of the month, we as men must be aware of it. That's the consciousness. Okay? If you're aware of that, okay, I'm going to let her have her space during a few days so she can actually go through this, and later we'll address any problems that we might have. Because you can avoid a lot of fights, because fights start to, they make relationships start to really go bad. It's like it starts to build up, and if it builds up too much, it can go to a point of no return where now you're blaming each other for things. Okay, so very important to know this and have this in mind, that the woman goes through cycles, and there's cycles where she's more willing to do things or less willing to do things, especially in terms of sex. So now let me give you a few tips on how you can get a woman aroused. Okay, the first thing, women love to feel desired. I said that before, but if you make a woman feel desired with your acts, with the way you talk to her, with the way you look at her, the way you look at her is very important, always with respect. You must do this with respect. I'm not talking about being unrespectful. I'm saying that if you show desire for that one, true desire for that woman, she will really get aroused with you. Even the women who are shy, they love to feel desire, sexy, attractive. All the women do. So this is one of the best ways. I'm not talking about manipulation here, okay? In this course, I am not even suggesting manipulation, because all the things that I'm going to say now, you can say, well, you can manipulate a woman. Of course, you can manipulate anyone. You can tell people what they want to hear and they will be manipulated. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about true emotions, true desires, true feelings. I'm just saying what you have to do. You have to show it to her. You have to demonstrate her that she's very attractive and you're very attractive to her and you desire her very much in sex. You have to show it, actions. Not just saying, but actions. No manipulation here, okay? I want you to get this very clear because it's something that I don't like at all. Second thing that you can do is triggering her erotic imagination by talking. Talking to a woman's ear about what you would like to do or what she produces in you in terms of sexual arousal. How much you like whatever you like from her. All those things that you can tell her on the ear, or you can, actually one other thing that you can do is texting is a great one. Texting, escalating sexual tension through texting. Because all that happens, when you talk to a girl or when you text a girl something that you would like to do, you can start very slow and then you can escalate the tension up and even go to dirty talking if it goes there. That will trigger her mind, erotic mind. It will trigger her anticipation. She's going to imagine what's going to happen next. If you invite a woman for a dinner, for example, her mind is going to go, whoa. She's going to start thinking, wow. Where is he going to take me for dinner? Oh, and she starts to imagine the dinner. She starts to imagine the dinner, and then she's going to start to imagine what's going to happen next. Well, is he going to kiss me? Or maybe he's going to invite me to have sex later. I'm willing to have sex. And she's going to make that movie in her mind. What I was saying before about the porn movie, like she likes to imagine the porn movie. I'm not talking about porn movie here, but that's the same thing. She's going to start to imagine what's going to happen. And that's what's going to make her will to have sex. You see, if you put a picture of a man naked to a woman, she probably will not get aroused. If you go and stand naked in front of her, she's not going to get aroused. She gets aroused by that imagination that I was telling you about. Imagining what's going to happen, imagining how everything is going to develop. That's what's going to trigger her erotic imagination, and she's going to dress up, she's going to put some nice lingerie probably if she really likes you. And that's what's going to happen. That's how you get a woman aroused. The good thing about doing this, getting her imagination going, her mind going more than her body, because the body comes later, okay? Once her mind is there, her body will respond because she's going to get emotionally, sexually aroused. So she's going to start to get aroused, she's going to get excited, and you can have sex. But everything starts here. What that is going to do as well is she's going to focus on sex, which is one of the most difficult things. Women have a lot of chatter in their mind, more than men. A lot of chatter in their mind. Women are always thinking, and they have more activity in their mind. They're more emotional. So more thoughts, more emotions. So what's going to happen, you want her to focus on sex. You want to bring her to the present time. One of the most important goals that you have is to bring her mind to the present. That she stops that chatter in her mind. That she's focused on sex, that her mind is like in the moment and enjoying what she's experiencing and what's happening. I'm talking already when, not only before, but also when you are having sex. But if you get her to think about it when it's happening, the chances that she's there are much more than if it's random. Because some women, they're thinking about what they have to do next. My friend has a problem, the kids, tomorrow I have to do this, I have to do some cooking because there's, the kids have to go somewhere the other day. My mother is having a problem or whatever. All these things can be in their mind while they're having sex. Do you think you can have an orgasm like that? Very difficult. To have a good orgasm and have good sex, you have to be with your mind in the present time, enjoying and experiencing what you're doing. That's the only way to do it. So bring her mind to the present is one of the keys to get a great sexual life with a woman. You can also do this by creating a nice ambience, finding good spots to have sex where she's disconnected from her normal life, from her routines. If you have kids, make sure that the kids are not close and that they're not going to interrupt, things like that. Mobiles have to go out, that she's present in the time, okay? I talk about this in other videos as well. So finally, just to end this video, to wrap up this video, and this is just a calling for woman, okay? A calling for woman, for the new woman, the woman who are living in the present time, and to empower themselves, to empower themselves sexually and emotionally when it comes to sex, and see themselves equal to men in terms of sex. You have the same rights to have an incredible sexual life and great orgasms as much as men do. You do. And I encourage you to look for men who are empowered as well and respect you as that, as a woman that has those rights, and that they care for you, that they are balanced in terms of energies, that they have a masculine and feminine energy which is balanced, so that you can have a really good sex life. You don't deserve less than that. So if you're a woman that's looking for that, to empower herself, to know that she's a woman, and with all that takes, make sure that you look for a man that does that, and don't settle for less than that. That's what I encourage you to do. Make sure that you speak up if you don't have orgasms. Don't be ashamed or afraid of telling a man that you don't like the way he's doing it. And that doesn't mean that he's bad, it's just that you like it differently. Don't be scared of doing that. Speak up. Don't feel ashamed of your sexual fantasies. If you have a fantasy, don't be afraid to speak up and say, hey, I have this fantasy. And maybe you don't want to do it, but don't worry about saying it. Don't. If a man judges you for that, well, he needs to work on himself. So simply speak openly about sex. Speak openly about what you want, what you desire, what your needs are. Speak openly to your man about that, to any man about that. And that you expect a faithful and loving man by your side. Don't be scared of saying those things. Because there's men, believe me, there's men who are changing towards that. Actually, this course is for that. For men to develop and evolve into a different state of consciousness. So, this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.